I know you love to go to the gym, so I'm going to ask you 25 how often do you questions about fitness. Here we go. How often do you exercise?
6 days a week.
How often do you go to the gym?
6 days a week.
How often do you go hiking?
Once a month.
How often do you go swimming?
Once a year.
How often do you eat a meal during the day?
3 times.
How often do you eat junk food?
Twice a week.
How often do you go on a diet?
Most of the time, I'm on a diet.
How often do you fast?
Never.
How often do you go jogging?
Once a week.
How often do you take a gym selfie?
Every 6 days a week.
How often do you eat chicken breast?
Every day.
How often do you eat salad?
Every day.
How often do you drink alcohol?
Once every 2 or 3 months.
How often do you check your body in the mirror?
Every day.
How often do you check your weight?
Once a week.
How often do you eat protein powder?
Every day.
How often do you cook?
Once a week.
How often do you take health supplements?
Every day.
How often do you take steroids?
Never.
How often do you have a gym injury?
Almost never.
How often do you feel too tired to exercise?
Once a week.
How often do you consider quitting going to the gym?
Once a week.
How often do you get harassed at the gym?
Never.
How often do you have a day with no exercise?
Once a week.
How often do you flex your muscles for other people?
Every day.
Can you flex for us now?
Yes, I can.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you for talking with me. It was lovely.